let me also address another issue before I probably see it in the comments here. Leasing. People are really scared of leasing, and this is when there are some exceptions. When it, like, if you drive 100,000 miles a year, you can't lease, right? Because leasing does does cap you at a certain amount of mileage. After that, you have to pay, which still makes sense. But so there are some scenarios where leasing maybe doesn't make sense. But I've always encouraged leasing. Leasing is a million times better than buying or financing a brand new car. It's only a brand new car. Now, let me get this off my chest right away. It's really tough to qualify for the $7,500 tax credit if your electric car qualifies. You probably do not, because of your income, because you've already bought one. Many different ways. It is not that easy at all. As a matter of fact, most people probably won't. However, there is a loophole. When you are leasing a car, and by the way, even though I believe even if the car does not qualify, leasing a car automatically, in the eyes of this law, makes the car, and I'm not a lawyer, I'm going to say that, makes that car, I believe, a commercial deal, and therefore you are qualified for $7,500 tax credit, and usually the auto manufacturers and the banks pass it, right through to you. If they don't, run away. They absolutely need to pass it to you, because it's like they can't just pocket $7,500. So that's number one. Leasing your electric car will automatically qualify you for the $7,500 tax credit if the car is. But like I said, I think there's also a loophole for that. So that's number one. Number two, this is the only time you get to screw a bank, because the residual value, and in this case, you probably will, because the residual value is usually set at, let's say, about 50%. If at the end of your lease, the price is really 50%, which rarely happens, well, nobody wins, nobody loses. If it is more, then you buy that car out of the lease, though some, including Tesla, sometimes doesn't allow you. So make sure that is permitted for you to buy the car out of the lease and sell it at the higher price, because the price is, what people are willing to pay for it. I've done this before. I made anywhere up to $5,000 on my lease. However, what's probably going to happen, in order to make those payments very small, they will up the residual value to something that it will never, hang on to. And what's going to happen is that the bank will, let's say, tell you that it's going to be 50%, but the value will be, let's say, actually 40%. And guess who eats that extra 10%? The bank. If you would have purchased that car and decided to get rid of it after, let's say, 3 or 4 or 5 years, you would have to eat that. So that's another great way to make sure that you don't lose money at the very least, and sometimes even win a little bit. Now, the third one is the sales tax. And that's another thing, is when you're buying a car, you have to pay the full sales tax no matter what. However, when you're leasing a car, you're only paying the sales tax on the usage. So, for example, if you're leasing it for 3 years and it's a $100,000 car, that means you're only paying your taxes for the $50,000 that you're going to be using it for. You're not double paying it for the second one that's essentially you're not using, like you would with purchase of the car, right? Right now, the lease incentives, and specifically from Tesla and many others, are ridiculous, because the auto manufacturers are essentially subsidizing the lease, right? Like, the bank is giving you a deal, but the auto manufacturers throw in some of the money. Like, for example, they're saying, well, you don't have to pay the interest on it. We'll take care of it, right? And they figure it out with the bank. So right now, it is definitely a great time to lease an electric vehicle, not just for those reasons that I mentioned, just because the deals are just so sweet. So this is the reason why I'm telling you, don't buy an brand new electric car right now. Either buy used or get yourself a sweet lease deal. Now, of course, you have to qualify with a decent credit score and stuff like that, but these are just facts of life.